What happens when a top Hollywood star walks onto a talk show set expecting nothing more than a friendly interview, only to find herself accused of things that cut deeper than any role she has ever taken on? That is exactly what happened the day Salma Hayek walked off Kelly Clarkson Show, leaving the entire audience stunned. The exchange was tense, emotional, and unforgettable, and it quickly became one of the most talked-about moments in daytime television. Before we get into all the details of this dramatic encounter, don't forget to subscribe and let me know in the comments what you think really happened in that studio. It was a regular Tuesday afternoon, and the Kelly Clarkson Show was running smoothly. The audience was energized and buzzing, thrilled to see the next guest, none other than Academy Award-nominated actress Salma Hayek. She had come on to promote her latest film, a project that was already generating early excitement in the industry. Kelly, well known for her approachable personality and warm style of conversation, sat casually on set, going over her questions as the cameras cut away for the final commercial. "We're back in 30 seconds, the floor manager called out, his voice carrying across the studio. Makeup artists dashed in to give a quick powder touch to both women, smoothing away any shine under the hot lights. Salma looked absolutely stunning. She wore a deep emerald dress that caught the light beautifully, accentuating her graceful presence. On the outside, she appeared calm, but there was something in her eyes, a subtle guardedness. Those who knew her well might have noticed it, that flicker of watchfulness behind the confident smile. She had been in this business for decades. She knew how to navigate interviews, how to keep her composure. But today, there was a different energy in the air. "And we're back with the incredible Salma Hayek," Kelly said brightly as the cameras rolled again, her signature smile glowing. "Salma, thank you so much for being here." "Thank you for inviting me, Kelly," Salma responded, adjusting in her chair. Her voice carried the same soft, melodic accent she had never lost, even after years of working in Hollywood. That accent, as always, captivated the audience. Kelly leaned forward with genuine excitement. "So let's dive right into this new movie. You're playing a woman who is wrestling with very heavy themes, questions about identity, about belonging. How did you personally connect with her story?" Salma's face brightened as she answered, clearly passionate. "You know, Kelly, every actor puts pieces of themselves into their characters. This woman is searching for where she truly belongs, questioning whether she's really accepted even after giving everything she has. That, I think, is a very human struggle." Kelly nodded, but then shifted slightly in tone. "That must feel personal to you." Her words carried a different edge now, just subtle enough for Salma to notice. Salma's smile stayed, but her shoulders stiffened a fraction. "What do you mean exactly?" she asked, careful but attentive. Kelly glanced quickly at her notes, then back up. "Well, in past interviews, you've said you sometimes felt you had to work harder than others to prove yourself in Hollywood. You've mentioned obstacles you face because of your background." The audience sensed the change immediately, and the energy in the room dropped into silence. Even Salma's publicist, sitting just a few feet away, looked up from her phone with a small frown. "I believe anyone who comes from a different culture deals with challenges when starting a new life somewhere," Salma replied, measured and calm. "But I have also been very lucky in my career." "But there were certain issues, weren't there?" Kelly pressed, her tone suddenly less like a friendly host and more like a determined reporter. "There have been stories about disagreements on film sets, conflicts with directors and producers." Salma's expression didn't falter, but those who paid close attention saw her jaw tighten. "Kelly, I don't know what exactly you're referring to. I've always had professional relationships with colleagues, even with Marcus Davidson." The mention of Marcus Davidson, a producer notorious for his temper and controversial remarks, made the audience stir uncomfortably. Kelly leaned in. "But wasn't there an incident during the filming of Desert Moon? Reports said you had a heated argument with him in front of the whole crew." Salma shifted in her seat, her graceful posture becoming sharper. "Kelly, why are we focusing on gossip? I thought I was here to talk about my current film." Now the studio was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. In the control room, producers were waving their arms, unsure whether to cut away or let the situation continue. "I'm only trying to get to the truth," Kelly said, her voice a little louder. There have been reports for years about your behavior on set, about certain demands, conflicts, clashes with other actors and crew. My behavior? Salma repeated, her voice dropping low. Kelly, are you accusing me of something? I'm not accusing you, Kelly replied quickly, though her words sounded defensive. I'm asking about a pattern people have described. There have been stories, even claims of, well, devil-like behavior. The phrase hit like a blow. Salma's composure, built over years of surviving Hollywood scrutiny, showed its first crack. Devil-like behavior? She echoed slowly, as if the words themselves were toxic. Salma, I respect your artistry, Kelly said, seemingly unaware of the damage she had caused. But people say fame might have changed you, made you harder to work with. Salma's eyes lit up with controlled fire. Difficult to work with? She repeated, her voice heavy with the weight of frustration. Do you realize what you're saying? Kelly leaned forward defensively. I'm just raising what others in the industry have mentioned. Some people have said you've been challenging. Challenging, Salma said, standing to her feet. The stage lights caught the determination in her eyes. Let me ask you this. When a male actor stands up for his character, for his vision, for quality, what do they call him? Kelly looked visibly uneasy, shifting in her seat. They call him passionate. They call him brilliant. But when I do it, when women do it, especially women who look like me, we're called divas. We're labeled difficult. The audience shifted uncomfortably. This was not the cheerful, light interview they expected. That's not how I meant it, Kelly protested, but her voice lacked strength. Oh, I think it is, Salma said firmly. Tell me, have you ever asked Russell Crowe about being difficult? Christian Bale, man known for intensity? No, but you ask me. Kelly fell silent. The producers in the control room looked panicked, not sure how to proceed. You want to talk about Marcus Davidson? Salma continued, her voice steady but fiery. That man told me, right in front of my colleagues, that I should stick to playing maids and mistresses, because that's what audiences expect from people like me. Gasps rippled through the audience. And when I told him that was unacceptable, when I stood up for myself and every Latina actress, suddenly I was the difficult one. When I demanded the same respect my white colleagues received, suddenly I was the diva. Kelly's face turned pale. I didn't realize. You didn't realize because you didn't look for the truth, Salma said. You relied on whispers and gossip, and you ambushed me here with them. Kelly tried to defend herself. I wasn't trying to ambush you. I wanted to highlight the challenges women face in Hollywood. By repeating the very stereotypes that harm us, Salma laughed bitterly. Do you see the irony? You are doing exactly what Hollywood has done to me for years, taking my strength and calling it a flaw. The tension was unbearable. Camera operators weren't sure where to point their lenses, caught between duty and disbelief. I've given everything to my career, Salma continued. I learned English. I trained. I fought for roles that reflect real stories about my culture. Instead of being praised for that fight, I've been branded difficult. That's admirable, Kelly said softly, trying to ease the moment. Admirable? Salma's eyebrows lifted sharply. It shouldn't be admirable. It should be expected. Every artist should fight for their craft, every person for their dignity. The problem is when I do it, it's seen as a problem. You want to hear about conflicts? She went on, her voice cooling but sharper than ever. Conflicts like when a director told me to lose my accent because it wasn't sexy enough. Or when a producer said I should be grateful for whatever scraps I got. And when I spoke up, I was warned it would end my career. I'm sorry, Kelly said again, her tone more sincere this time. Your intention doesn't erase the harm, Salma replied firmly. What matters is the impact. And today, you've given credibility to every person who tried to drag me down by calling me difficult. The studio stayed hushed. Here's what I want everyone to hear, Salma said, turning to the cameras. Being difficult has never broken me. It's never forced me to accept less than I deserve. It never will. Instead of letting that powerful moment stand, Kelly pressed on, her tone almost patronizing. I think maybe you're overreacting to some fair concerns. Overreacting? Salma repeated, her voice sharp with disbelief. Did you just tell me I'm overreacting to decades of prejudice? Kelly fumbled. That's not what I meant. I just think some things could have been handled differently. How? Salma demanded, her composure slipping. How should I have handled being told I wasn't American enough for leads but too educated for stereotypes? How should I have handled being passed over for less experienced actresses with the right look? Tell me, Kelly, how? I don't know, Kelly admitted softly. Before adding words she shouldn't have. Maybe if you worked with people instead of against them, the results might have been different. The audience murmured in shock. Even the production assistants froze. Work with people, Salma said coldly. You mean stay silent when disrespected? You mean compromise my integrity to make others comfortable? That's not working with people, that's surrendering, Kelly weakly protested, but Salma cut her off with authority. No, let me finish. You invited me under the pretense of celebrating my art, my film. Instead, you came at me with rumors, and when I spoke truth, you told me I was overreacting. That is not journalism, that's gossip. That's tearing someone down. The cameras caught everything. The steel in Salma's eyes. The discomfort on Kelly's face. The disbelief in the audience. You want to know the truth about being difficult? Salma said finally, unhooking her microphone. Difficult women change the world. We unlock doors. We demand better. We refuse to settle for less. Kelly pleaded. Salma, please, let's start over. I respect you. Salma's smile was sad but resolute. Respect is not claimed with words. It's shown in actions. And what you did here today was not respect. She stood tall, smoothing her dress, her heels clicking as she walked toward the exit. Just before leaving, she turned one last time. One day, I hope you learn the difference between asking real questions and tearing someone down. Between holding people accountable and repeating gossip. Until then, this conversation is over. With that, Salma Hayek left the set, leaving behind silence so heavy it seemed to fill the air. The audience had just seen something raw, unscripted, unforgettable. Kelly sat in her chair, staring at the empty space, realizing too late the gravity of what had just unfolded. That moment, filled with truth and strength, would be replayed and discussed long after the cameras stopped rolling. So, what do you think? Was Salma right to walk away, or should she have stayed and pushed through the conflict? Let me know in the comments.